Welcome, deeply curious listeners, to the Deep Dive. Today, we're embarking on a journey. It's about one of the most vital and, often most challenging parts of personal transformation, maybe especially recovery.
Definitely.
Navigating that intricate web of our relationships when, well, the old rules just don't serve us anymore.
It's a real crossroads, isn't it? So many of us at this point, you're evolving, you're changing, and bam, suddenly those comfortable, familiar dynamics with old friends or even family feel, well, profoundly different.
So different.
Maybe some old friends don't quite feel like a safe haven anymore, or family interactions that seemed, normal, now they stir up this unexpected unease.
Or worse, they threaten to pull you right back into patterns you've worked so incredibly hard to leave behind.
Exactly. It's like discovering you've completely outgrown your old social script, the one you didn't even know you were reading from.
That's such a great way to put it. It's like you've meticulously upgraded your internal operating system, right? But your external relationship software still stuck running some outdated, really glitchy version.
Oh, yeah, that's it.
And the core challenge here, and it's a profound one, is that genuine personal transformation often demands a complete, root and branch overhaul of how we engage with pretty much everyone around us.
It really does.
Those relationships we built in the past were often founded on these unspoken, maybe even unconscious rules. And now, those same rules are actively counterproductive to our well-being, to our continued growth.
That's it, precisely. These old rules, often they were forged as survival mechanisms or coping strategies in earlier environments, maybe childhood, maybe previous difficult relationships.
Right.
And they become deeply, deeply ingrained. They served a purpose once, Maybe protecting us or helping us fit in somehow. But now, they might very well be the invisible chains holding us back from the healthier connections we actually crave. They're like these old habits of the heart, just stubbornly resistant to change.
So our mission today on the Deep Dive is to really unpack this crucial dilemma. Not just, understand it academically, but to truly feel its implications.
Yeah, get into the grit of it.
We're going to plunge into the fascinating science of how relationships operate, how our past experiences have, frankly, irrevocably shaped them, and most importantly, how we can proactively, intentionally, and courageously rewrite your very own human playbook for social engagement.
I love that phrase, human playbook.
Yeah, me too. And this isn't just about gathering information, okay? It's about equipping you with actionable insights to build new, healthy connections.
Yeah.
Connections that genuinely support and amplify the incredible person you are becoming.
We'll explore why those old relationship dynamics feel so incredibly sticky, so hard to shake off.
Exactly. And then, crucially, provide a clear path for forging connections that truly serve who you are today. Let's unravel this together.
Let's do it.
So let's begin by shining a light on what we're calling the invisible rules. This is all about how those old habits, and even past traumas, have subtly yet powerfully shaped the very foundation of your relationships, often without you even realizing it.
It's the stuff running in the background.
Totally. We all talk about wanting better relationships, don't we? It's often framed like a goal. I want a happier marriage, or I want more supportive friends. The drill.
Sure, the desired outcome.
But our sources highlight this profound, almost counterintuitive truth. Achieving a specific goal, it only changes your life for a moment.
Right. Temporary fix.
True. Sustainable improvement in any area, and maybe especially in relationships, comes not from chasing outcomes, but from changing the underlying systems that consistently produce those results.
That's an absolutely critical distinction, really critical. And it's one that completely shifts our perspective, I think.
Yeah.
One source puts it so clearly. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems. Just let that sink in.
Wow. Okay. Fall to the level of your systems.
Think about it. We pour all our energy into wishing for a happy, stable partnership or supportive friendships, but if the fundamental processes or the identity changes required to actually create those outcomes aren't in place, well, we'll just find ourselves stuck in the same frustrating cycles again and again. If your relational systems, the automatic ways you interact, communicate, maybe set boundaries or don't set boundaries, if those are flawed, you'll keep getting frustrating results no matter how earnestly you desire something different.
It's like trying to win a championship with a totally broken training regimen. It just won't work.
Exactly. Perfect analogy.
That makes so much sense. It's like trying to fix a leaky faucet by just mopping up the water on the floor, isn't it? Constantly cleaning up messes.
Right. Instead of fixing the leak itself,
you need to fix the plumbing. The core insight here is, if you fix the inputs, the outputs will ultimately fix themselves.
Mm-hmm. Fix the system.
So for relationships, this means shifting our focus dramatically from simply hoping for different results to actively, deliberately redesigning our relational habits and those underlying patterns.
And that's the work.
That's the heavy lifting, yeah. But it's where real, lasting change actually happens.
And this leads us directly to understanding habits. Habits as the deep embodiment of our identity and relationships.
Okay.
Our relationship patterns aren't just random choices we make on a whim, right? They are, in fact, deeply ingrained habits. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
These habits quite literally shape who we become. We've all heard the phrase, you are what you repeatedly do.
Sure.
Well, our sources describe habits as the compound interest of self-improvement. Think about that.
Yeah.
Compounding over time.
Compound interest.
Mm-hmm.
For better or worse, I guess.
Exactly. They're incredibly efficient mental shortcuts learned from experience. Basically, a memory of the steps you previously followed to solve a problem. The brain loves efficiency.
That's a powerful way to put it.
Yeah.
And it ties right into how our brains are wired, doesn't it? For efficiency. Our brains are always working to preserve your conscious attention for whatever task is most essential.
Right. Save the bandwidth.
And they actively like to pawn off tasks to the non-conscious mind to do automatically. So those automatic responses, those habitual ways of interacting, maybe it's people-pleasing, maybe avoiding conflict at all cost, or constantly seeking external validation, they free up our conscious attention for other things.
Sounds good in theory.
But here's the hard truth about those unwanted habits, especially in the relational sphere. They are incredibly difficult to break, precisely because they're so ingrained, so automatic.
So true.
If you find yourself repeatedly falling back into unhealthy relationship patterns, perhaps enabling others, maybe being dishonest or always putting yourself last, that kind of thing.
Yeah, the familiar loops.
It might be that you're trying to change the wrong thing. Or, and this is crucial, in the wrong way.
Exactly. Our self-image gets in the way. Think about it. If your identity, consciously or unconsciously, has become tied to being the fixer or the martyr or the people pleaser, even if it's totally detrimental to your well-being, breaking that habit feels like an attack on who you fundamentally are. It's threatening.
It's not just giving up a behavior. It feels like giving up a part of yourself, a core part maybe.
Precisely. So true progress here isn't just about learning new behaviors. It absolutely necessitates unlearning those old ones.
Unlearning, that's key.
And then continuously editing your beliefs and to upgrade and expand your identity. It's a constant dynamic process of self-refinement, self-redefinition, not a one-and-done fix.
Okay, so habits, identity systems. And speaking of deeply ingrained programming, this brings us to a major, often unconscious driver of these invisible relationship rules, our attachment style.
It's attachment, foundational stuff.
This is truly the unseen programming of connection, isn't it?
Yeah.
Stemming from our earliest experiences, literally shaping how we seek and respond to intimacy throughout our lives.
Absolutely. It's fascinating and sometimes really challenging how much people vary in their fundamental need for intimacy and closeness.
Yeah.
And these profound differences our sources highlight can create clashes that are not only incredibly frustrating, but also deeply painful. They're mismatches at a core level.
Okay, so let's dig into that. Let's maybe look at two key attachment styles that seem to frequently lead to these unseen relational struggles.
Sounds good. First, let's talk about anxious attachment. Individuals with the style, they crave intimacy and closeness deeply, really deeply. But, and this is the tough part, they often grapple with a lot of insecurities about where the relationship is going. There's a baseline anxiety there.
Okay, so like constantly scanning for problems.
Kind of. You might find that little things your partner does tend to set you off, triggering a disproportionate emotional response. A small thing feels huge. And they often, tragically, lack the skills to communicate their distress effectively. So instead of saying, I feel scared, they might resort to what the literature calls acting out in drama.
Ah, the protest behavior.
Exactly. Becoming even more sensitive to slights or perceived rejections. It's a feedback loop.
It sounds like a constant, almost desperate yearning for reassurance. That feeling of, am I okay? Are we okay?
Precisely. You see this in individuals who are very absorbed in finding someone, but then paradoxically, they get close and then get hurt. Yet despite the pain, despite repeated disappointment, they continue to yearn for closeness. It's an agonizing cycle, really painful to witness and to experience.
Yeah. Our sources give this powerful example of Tamra, her increasing clinginess in the face of his distancing.
The classic anxious response.
And her heartbreaking inability to leave an unhealthy relationship, even though she knew intellectually that she deserved better.
She couldn't break free.
Right. And this was predicted with surprising precision just by understanding her anxious attachment style. Her attachment system remained chronically activated.
Constantly on high alert.
Meaning she was in a constant state of seeking reassurance and connection, but ironically, often in ways that actually pushed it further away.
It's like trying to fill a bucket with a hole in the bottom. The more you pour in that anxious energy, the more frustrated you get, the more desperate you become, and the faster it drains away.
Wow. Okay. That's a tough dynamic. What about the other end of the spectrum?
Right. Then there's avoidant attachment. These individuals typically feel uncomfortable when things become too close and intimate.
So the opposite urge.
Pretty much. They tend to value your independence and freedom more than the relationship itself, or at least feel that way when closeness increases.
Yeah.
They often don't tend to worry about your partner's feelings or commitment toward you in the same obsessive way an anxious person might.
So less scanning for trouble.
Generally, yeah. Now, they do have attachment needs, just like everyone else, that's important, but they actively suppress them.
Suppress them. Yes.
Often using what are called deactivating strategies. This can look like being inconsistent or evasive in communication, pulling away.
Ghosting, maybe? Or
Yeah.
just being vague?
Could be. Or even developing a sudden surge of negativity as intimacy or closeness grows, picking fights, finding fault.
Why?
It's all unconsciously triggered, usually, to turn off your attachment needs. It's an internal defense mechanism against perceived engulfment or loss of independence.
So if you've ever been with someone who seemed to suddenly get cold or distant or maybe even hostile, just as things were truly getting good between you, that might be a deactivating strategy at play. It's almost like hitting an internal alarm that screams, too close, retreat, danger.
Precisely. Craig is a powerful, albeit painful, example from the sources. He missed no opportunity to put up emotional barriers.
Like what?
Actively belittling her, avoiding sex, and using numerous other deactivating strategies. He literally pushed intimacy away, even when part of him might have wanted connection.
It's a deeply tragic, self-sabotaging pattern, isn't it?
Yeah.
Pushing away the very thing you might, on some level, need.
It really is. And the most pronounced, often painfully destructive clash occurs in what's widely known as the anxious-avoidant trap, or the anxious-avoidant dance.
Okay, I think I can see where this is going.
Right. You have an anxiously attached person craving intense closeness, reassurance, merging, and an avoidantly attached person instinctively shying away from it, needing space, feeling suffocated.
That total mismatch.
Incongruent intimacy needs, as our sources put it. And this usually translates into substantially lower satisfaction for both people involved. It's lose-lose.
So conflict must be really hard to navigate there.
Extremely. Conflict in these relationships is often left unresolved because the resolution itself creates too much intimacy, which the avoidant partner unconsciously or maybe consciously wants to avoid. Making up feels too close.
Wow. So resolving conflict feels threatening.
Yeah. And avoidants, unfortunately, tend to grow more hostile and distant as arguments progress, leading to this devastating cycle of frustration, resentment, and perpetually unmet needs for both individuals.
It sounds like a dance where neither partner can truly meet the other's fundamental relational needs, just stepping on each other's toes constantly.
It's a very good description. It's painful.
This all raises a really important question, though. What about the deeper, maybe more profound wounds that shape our relationship blueprint?
You mean beyond attachment styles, formed in relatively normal environments?
Yeah. We're talking about the enduring impact of trauma and dysfunctional environments. These can create incredibly ingrained responses in our relationships.
Absolutely.
Responses that aren't rational choices at all, but deep physiological and emotional imprints.
The data here is truly sobering. We've seen studies indicating that more than half the people who seek psychiatric care have been assaulted, abandoned, neglected, or even raped as children, or have witnessed violence in their families.
More than half. That's staggering.
It is. And when the very people who are supposed to be your safe haven, your caregivers, or people whom you naturally turn to for care and protection, when they instead terrify or reject you,
The ultimate betrayal.
you learn to shut down and to ignore what you feel. It's a survival mechanism.
Makes sense. Numb out to survive.
This profound, learned shutdown can manifest later in life as dissociation, despair, addictions, a chronic sense of panic, and relationships that are marked by alienation, disconnection, and explosions. Chaos, instability.
And what's particularly striking, you mentioned, is that people with these histories often don't connect the dots, right?
Rarely. They rarely make the connection between what happened to them long ago and how they currently feel and behave. It's walled off.
But the body remembers?
The body definitely remembers. Being frightened means that you live in a body that is always on guard. Angry people live in angry bodies. This isn't metaphorical, it's physiological.
Can you give an example?
Sure. Traumatized children, for instance, have 50 times the rate of asthma as their non-traumatized peers. 50 times.
Wow.
And many develop a host of somatic symptoms, chronic pain, migraines, digestive issues. It shows how deeply these experiences are held in the physical self. It's not just in your head.
So it's absolutely not just in their head. The body is literally physically holding on to these experiences, like a separate, deeply etched memory system.
That's a truly profound thought.
It is. And the brain plays an undeniable role here, too. The emotional system, the limbic system, can act independently of the neocortex, our thinking brain.
Meaning
some emotional reactions and emotional memories can be formed without any conscious cognitive participation at all. You don't have to think about it to feel it or react.
Yeah.
The amygdala, that ancient primal part of our brain focused on threat detection, it can house memories and response repertoires that we enact without quite realizing why we do so. It just triggers.
This is why trauma victims often reenact rather than remember. Exactly. Their body and emotional brain are responding as if the past is the present, playing out old scripts, old defensive maneuvers, without conscious awareness.
It's like an old wound that keeps getting triggered over and over, even when the original threat is long gone.
Precisely.
Okay, so we have habits, attachment, trauma. What about mindset? How does that play into these invisible rules?
Yes. Then there's the subtle yet really insidious role of fixed mindsets in relationship demise.
Fixed mindset. Meaning you think things are just the way they are.
Basically, yeah. A fixed mindset, when applied to relationships, means believing that problems or challenges within the relationship indicate inherent, unchangeable character flaws either in yourself or your partner.
Like he's just selfish, or I'm just not good at relationships.
Exactly. It's also the belief that relationships shouldn't require effort. That if they do, something is fundamentally wrong. That if it's meant to be, it'll be easy myth.
Right. And that mindset, unfortunately, sets up a doomed dynamic from the start, doesn't it? I think we've all seen this, or maybe even experienced it ourselves, without realizing it was a mindset issue. Our sources are incredibly clear. A no-effort relationship is a doomed relationship, not a great relationship, period.
It just takes work. Communication takes work. Resolving differences takes work.
It takes work to communicate accurately, and it takes work to expose and resolve conflicting hopes and beliefs. That's from the source material.
And the fixed mindset, when confronted with inevitable relational challenges, tends to lead straight to blame defensiveness.
The Four Horsemen stuff.
Right. And the self-defeating belief that problems indicate character flaws. So in a marriage, for instance, those automatic thoughts that pop into your head.
Like what?
Like, he's always bullying me with his anger, or she has no right to treat me like this. That kind of global, harsh judgment.
Yeah, the always and never thinking.
It can quickly poison interactions, escalating into criticism and contempt, and ultimately leading to defensiveness or simply stonewalling, shutting down.
It becomes a devastating, self-fulfilling prophecy of failure. The belief that effort isn't needed or won't work ensures the relationship receives none, or that the effort is poisoned by blame.
Exactly. And finally, as we round out this section on invisible rules, we have to consider the insidious allure of unhealthy motivation.
Unhealthy motivation? What do you mean?
Even seemingly good intentions can be completely derailed by what our sources call carrot and stick dynamics, extrinsic motivation, doing things for a reward or to avoid punishment.
Okay. How does that apply to relationships?
When applied to relationships, this kind of motivation can render them short-term and deeply transactional. It's about getting something rather than building something. The research extensively details how extrinsic motivators can extinguish intrinsic motivation, the joy of doing something for its own sake.
Right.
They can diminish performance, crush creativity, crowd out good behavior, encourage cheating, shortcuts, and unethical behavior. And, crucially, can become addictive and foster short-term thinking, always looking for the next hit, the next reward.
This explains why, most people will spend all day chasing quick hits of satisfaction. Okay, I see the connection now.
Applied to relationships, this can manifest as constantly seeking external validation from a partner. Do you love me? Am I good enough?
Or avoiding any discomfort or difficult conversations because this stick is potential conflict or rejection.
Precisely. Or only engaging with others for perceived personal gains, a sense of security, maybe status, or simply to avoid being alone rather than for genuine connection and mutual growth.
It's using the relationship for something rather than being in the relationship.
You got it. Our sources warn that goals, while useful in some contexts, can actually be more toxic than Motivation 2.0 recognizes.
No, so?
They can cause narrowed focus, unethical behavior, increased risk-taking, decreased cooperation, and decreased intrinsic motivation.
So if your goal in a relationship is solely to avoid loneliness, or maybe to prove something to someone else, or just to escape an uncomfortable feeling,
you're building your relational house on a fundamentally unstable foundation. In essence, if your motivation for connection isn't rooted in genuine internal joy and mutual growth, well, it's a house built on sand. It won't last, or it won't be fulfilling.
Wow, okay. So we've spent a good chunk of time really peeling back the layers on these invisible rules, habits, attachment, trauma, mindset, motivation.
Yeah, a lot of interconnected stuff.
It's clear these aren't just minor quirks, are they? They are fundamental operating instructions that have dictated our relational dance, often leading to cycles of pain and frustration.
Keeps us stuck.
But the great news is, understanding why we've been running on outdated software is the first really crucial step to reclaiming our power.
Absolutely. Awareness is key.
So now, let's pivot entirely. Let's move into the exciting part. Actively building your new playbook. What are the absolute cornerstones for crafting truly healthy, vibrant social engagement? Where do we start?
Okay. The foundation, unequivocally, I would say, is assertive communication.
Assertive. Not aggressive, not passive. Assertive.
Exactly. This means mastering the art of speaking your needs and truth clearly, directly, and also empathetically. It's a decisive move away from those protest behaviors we talked about with anxious attachment.
Right. The drama or clinging.
Or the emotional blankness or withdrawal you might see with avoidance styles.
Okay.
As our sources emphasize, effective communication works on the understanding that we all have very specific needs in relationships.
Needs, not wants necessarily. Core needs.
Many of which are determined by your attachment style. Recognizing this, knowing your own needs, is the first step toward genuine connection.
And these needs aren't inherently good or bad, right? They just are, like needing closeness or needing space sometimes.
Precisely. The key, then, is that we need to communicate our attachment needs clearly without resorting to attacks or defensiveness. No blaming.
How do we do that?
Think about the secure people our sources describe. They are able to sensitively and empathically, and most important, coherently discuss their emotions with you. Coherently, making sense of it.
Okay, so it's about clarity and empathy.
Yeah. This is about finding words where words were absent before, and as a result, being able to share your deepest pain and deepest feelings with another human being. Imagine the relief and liberation of actually doing that effectively.
Huge. But for many, that's a monumental task, isn't it? Almost like learning a new language, especially if you grew up shutting down feelings.
It really is. There's a concept called alexithymia.
Alexithymia.
Yeah, it describes individuals who lack words for their feelings or even seem to lack feelings altogether. They just feel numb or confused.
Okay.
For them, the absolute first step is cultivating profound self-awareness, gaining access to one's own feelings and the ability to discriminate among them and draw upon them to guide behavior.
You have to know what you're feeling before you can talk about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Without that internal map of your own emotional landscape, trying to communicate effectively with others is pretty much a non-starter. You can't articulate what you don't recognize within yourself.
Right. It's absolutely not about being a robot, devoid of emotion. It's about mastering the art of articulating your inner world, making it comprehensible to both yourself and others.
Well said.
But effective communication isn't just about what you do say, is it? It's also profoundly about how you navigate those tougher moments. Conflict.
Conflict is inevitable.
So when conflict inevitably arises, how do we move beyond just not communicating or making assumptions, jumping to conclusions?
Yeah, bad habit.
How do we actually address it constructively? Our sources are clear. It's about moving past sending a hard message in ways that make it tough for people to hear what you're saying. You know, yelling, blaming.
Right, putting them on the defensive immediately.
Instead, the critical focus should be on maintaining focus on the problem at hand and, crucially, not generalizing the conflict.
Stick to the issue, the what happened right now issue.
Oh, you always or you never statements. It's about sticking to the present issue, not dredging up a decade of grievances in one fight.
Which is so easy to do when emotions run high. So easy. Okay, so assertive communication is cornerstone 1. What's next?
The second cornerstone, which is absolutely vital for your well-being, especially in recovery or transformation, is setting and holding boundaries without guilt.
Boundaries, the big one, and without guilt. That's the kicker.
That's the kicker. This is truly essential to protect your energy, your emotional space, your authentic self. It requires a significant process of unlearning those old patterns where your self-worth might have been unconsciously tied to pleasing others or avoiding conflict at all costs, being the nice one, the easygoing one.
Even when it's killing you inside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The good news is our brains are remarkably capable of this relearning. Neuroplasticity, right?
Yeah.
The prefrontal cortex, your thinking brain, actively suppresses the amygdala's command to the rest of the brain to respond with fear when we consciously engage in new, healthier responses.
So you can literally train your brain not to panic when you say no. You can. It's literally retraining your brain to respond differently to what once triggered panic or shutdown. You're building new pathways.
That's incredibly empowering. It means that even emotional lessons, even the most deeply implanted habits of the heart learned in childhood, can be reshaped.
They can. Emotional learning is lifelong. It's never too late.
So if you learned, maybe through painful past experiences, that saying no meant abandonment or inevitable conflict, you can literally retrain your brain to perceive and react to that boundary setting differently now.
Absolutely. And a practical, highly effective way to approach saying no with intention to help that retraining is through clear implementation intentions.
Implementation intentions, like planning it out.
Exactly. It's a powerful technique where you define precisely when and where you'll take action. You make a plan.
Okay.
For instance, declaring, I will behave here at time and location, like if my mom criticizes my choices at Sunday dinner, I will say, I'm not discussing this now, and change the subject.
Okay, so it's specific.
Very specific. This helps you say no to things that derail progress, distract your attention, and pull you off course. It's a proactive defense of your priorities and your well-being.
It truly is. When your dreams and intentions for your life are vague, it's easy to rationalize little exceptions all day long, right? Those little compromises that slowly erode your progress.
Death by 1,000 cuts.
But when you define your boundaries clearly, when you have that mental script ready for how you'll respond, it becomes much harder to betray your own evolving self in the moment.
It does. And this also ties directly into shifting from that fixed mindset to a growth mindset we talked about earlier.
How so with boundaries?
Well, a fixed mindset might view setting a boundary as a character flaw. I'm being selfish, or I'm not good at handling difficult people, or this means the relationship is bad.
Right. It reflects badly on me or the relationship.
It's that internal voice saying, a good friend-daughter partner wouldn't say no.
Yeah. I know that voice.
Yeah. But a growth mindset, by contrast, focuses intently on learning, challenge, confronting obstacles. It's about skill building.
Okay.
Instead of feeling judged or internally shamed for meeting boundaries, you can begin to see your efforts to learn and implement them as simply trying to encourage learning and good study habits for your own life and well-being. You're practicing a skill.
I like that, study habits for your life.
Yeah. This is about giving up that fixed mindset self that might have given you perceived self-esteem through external validation, through always saying yes, and instead embracing the profound belief that people can develop their abilities, including their ability to establish and maintain healthy relational boundaries. It's a skill you can learn and improve.
That's a fundamental shift. Seeing it as a learnable skill, not a fixed trait.
Okay.
Communication, boundaries. What's the third cornerstone?
The third crucial cornerstone is identifying healthy versus unhealthy support the profound power of connection.
Okay. Choosing your circle wisely.
Exactly. Not all relationships are created equal, right? And cultivating connections that genuinely support your growth and well-being rather than inadvertently perpetuating old, harmful dynamics is absolutely vital.
So, how do we know the difference?
Secure individuals, for instance, they naturally believe that there are many potential partners open to intimacy and closeness who would be responsive to your needs. They have an expectation of reciprocity.
They expect good things.
And they know, deep down, you deserve to be loved and valued at all times. Because of this, they tend to automatically lose interest in inconsistent or evasive individuals.
Their radar is better tuned.
You could say that. Their internal system inherently expects and gravitates towards healthy reciprocal engagement. They don't have to consciously think, is this person good for me as much? It's an almost unconscious vetting process based on feeling safe and respected.
That's fascinating. And this ties into the idea of a complex self that healthy relationships foster. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, this is interesting. Think of it like this. Healthy development involves two key movements. One is differentiation.
Differentiation.
It's all about truly becoming you, knowing your unique thoughts, feelings, values, boundaries, separate from anyone else, developing your distinct identity, standing on your own 2 feet.
Okay, being your own person.
Right. And the other movement is integration.
Integration.
This is about genuinely connecting, forming deep bonds with others, finding common ground, uniting with ideas and entities beyond yourself, belonging, connecting.
Being yourself and connecting with others.
Exactly. The key, our sources stress, is doing both simultaneously, finding that balance.
Why is that balance so important?
Because if you only integrate, say, completely losing yourself within a group or relationship, letting your unique identity get swallowed up, that's when you see dangerous behaviors emerge, like in certain cults or high-demand groups, or even just deeply codependent relationships where individual thought is erased. It leads to a loss of self as a result of transcendent experience, where one is integrated but not differentiated.
Losing yourself in the we.
Right. Healthy connection is about being you fiercely and uniquely while also being deeply connected to others, holding both.
Okay, differentiation and integration. And this relates to flow.
It does, in a way. This dual pursuit also brings us to the profound concept of flow, that state of being fully immersed in an activity.
Right, getting lost in something positive.
We should actively seek relationships and activities that provide the state of flow, where one is able to forget all the unpleasant aspects of life due to complete focusing of attention on the task at hand.
Like playing music or coding or having a great conversation.
Exactly. When you're in flow, the activity itself provides a powerful internal order and excludes the interference of disorder and consciousness. It quiets the mental noise. This also leads to a remarkable loss of self-consciousness, becoming an egoless thing in a way. Somehow the right thing is done without you ever thinking about it or doing anything at all. It just happens.
Imagine that feeling translating into your interactions. A genuine, unforced connection where the conversation just flows effortlessly without that constant self-monitoring or anxiety.
That's the goal, isn't it? Finding connections where you can just be.
This speaks so powerfully to the concept of authentic motivation for connection, moving beyond those extrinsic carrot and stick things we discussed.
Right, intrinsic motivation. When the reward is the activity itself, meaning you engage for the pure joy and fulfillment of the interaction, not for what you can get out of it. It leads to deepening learning, delighting customers, doing one's best. In this space, relationally, there are no shortcuts. The only route to the destination is the high road.
It stands in stark contrast to external motivators that can encourage cheating, shortcuts, and unethical behavior, or just lead to superficial, unsatisfying connections.
Totally. In relationships, this means connecting for the sheer joy of genuine connection, for mutual growth and understanding, not for external validation or to avoid perceived negative consequences like loneliness.
It's about moving from a transactional model, what can I get, to a truly transformational one, how can we grow together?
Beautifully put. And for those of you who are influencing younger generations, maybe as parents, mentors, teachers, friends, our sources provide a powerful insight into modeling healthy relationships. It's not just about what you say.
Right. Do as I say, not as I do doesn't really work.
Not at all. If the parents enjoy playing music, cooking, reading, gardening, carpentry, or fixing engines in the garage, then it is more likely that their children will find similar activities challenging and engaging. They see the intrinsic motivation.
They see the joy, the flow.
Exactly. Furthermore, actively discussing ideals and dreams and treating children perhaps more like young adults as friends help to socialize them into thoughtful adults. Respectful engagement.
So it demonstrates that a healthy system of relating is built not just on explicit teaching or rules, but profoundly on the implicit modeling of engaged, intrinsically motivated, meaningful living and connecting.
It's about showing, not just telling, how fulfilling healthy connections can be. You embody the playbook.
That makes perfect sense. Children aren't just listening to what we say, they're watching how we live and how we connect. Okay? And this raises an important, maybe deeper personal question. How do we find this wisdom, this consistent guidance within ourselves, especially when navigating the messy reality of relationships?
Where does the compass come from?
Our sources touch on the profound concept of an inner friend or wise counsel from Jungian psychology, this internal guide, this deeper knowing. It can lead us, even if it initially seems like an enemy, because it asks us to confront uncomfortable truths, maybe parts of ourselves we don't like.
Right, the shadow stuff.
It's about recognizing and integrating the wisdom that emerges from confronting chaos, from leaning into the friction that comes with growth. As the alchemists describe their elusive stone, it cries out, "Protect me, and I will protect thee. Give me what is mine, that I may help thee."
Wow. What does that mean in this context?
It's a powerful metaphor, I think, for the internal strength and wisdom that emerges when we align with our deeper truth, when we nurture that inner knowing. It protects us, guides us, helps us.
And the friction part.
The greater the friction, the less likely the habit of a negative pattern will stick. This inner friend, this wise counsel, helps us introduce that necessary friction to our unhealthy patterns, making them harder to maintain. It challenges the autopilot.
Okay, so listening to that inner voice even when it's hard.
Exactly. Okay, now that we've laid out this conceptual framework for building a new playbook, assertive communication, boundaries, healthy support, inner wisdom, let's get into the intensely practical side.
The how-to.
Yeah. How do you actually start rewriting these rules in real time? Especially during those challenging conversations where old patterns try to sneak back in or roar back in.
The moments of truth.
We could apply a principle from our sources, often used for habit formation. The 2-minute rule for boundaries.
The 2-minute rule. Okay.
Just like starting any new habit, the key here is to start incredibly small and make it effortlessly easy. Get the ball rolling.
Makes sense. Lower the barrier to entry.
The goal isn't perfection in every interaction, right? It's simply to get the reps in, to practice the new behavior consistently, even imperfectly.
That's such an accessible entry point. The 2-minute rule fundamentally states, when you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do.
2 minutes, okay.
This creates what's called a gateway habit, a tiny, achievable step that naturally leads you down a more productive path. It makes the bigger change feel less daunting.
So for boundaries, this means focusing intently on just the first 2 minutes of setting that boundary, like just saying the words.
Exactly. Rather than getting overwhelmed by the entire potential conversation or the hypothetical negative reactions or the hour-long argument you anticipate.
Yeah, the catastrophizing.
Just focus on the initiation, the act of starting the new behavior. Saying the first sentence, that's the 2-minute win, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant it feels.
Because each small victory reinforces the new pattern. It builds momentum.
Precisely.
So let's offer some polite, direct scripts, things people can actually say. These aren't about being rude or aggressive. They're about being crystal clear, confident, and respectful of your own evolving self and your personal boundaries.
Ready-to-use phrases can be really helpful when you're learning.
Okay, first, for declining invitations or engagements that genuinely don't serve you, or that you simply can't commit to without compromising your well-being or time. What's a simple script?
How about, I appreciate the invitation, but I'm not going to be able to make it.
Simple. Clear. No apology needed.
Exactly. The beauty of this is its clarity. It sets a firm boundary without over-explaining. Over-explaining often invites negotiation or guilt-tripping or feeling obligated.
Right. You don't owe anyone a detailed justification for protecting your time or energy. No is a complete sentence, or this polite version works too.
Absolutely. The goal is clear without being defensive or overly apologetic. Okay, secondly, for setting topic boundaries. When a conversation veers into uncomfortable, draining, or inappropriate territory, gossip, criticism, unsolicited advice.
Yeah, that happens a lot.
This is where you empower yourself to control the flow of the conversation and protect your emotional space. A simple yet powerful script is, I'm not comfortable discussing that right now.
I'm not comfortable discussing that right now. Direct. Uses I language.
Yes, it's a direct assertion of your need for safety and respect in that moment, and it's a full statement that clearly communicates your limit without attacking the other person.
This script seems especially useful when family members or old friends, maybe unconsciously, try to pull you back into old discussions, maybe gossip or criticism that drains your energy or drags you back into unhealthy dynamics you're trying to escape.
Definitely. Third, for managing difficult family dynamics. This is often the trickiest arena, particularly when a family member pushes your buttons, offers unsolicited criticism, makes hurtful comments.
The real testing ground.
For sure. This is where it gets really important to apply that idea that it takes work to communicate accurately, and it takes work to expose and resolve conflicting hopes and beliefs. So a script for this might sound like,
Okay.
I hear what you're saying, but I need you to understand that I'm not comfortable with that kind of comment. Acknowledge, then state your boundary.
I hear you, but...
And maybe add, we can discuss this when we can both be respectful.
Ooh, okay. That sets a standard. It redirects the conversation, focuses on respectful communication, and establishes a clear expectation for how interactions will proceed. It's not an attack. It's an assertion of your values for the relationship.
Precisely. And fourth, a big one, responding to demands for old behavior.
The but you always used to situation.
Yeah, exactly. That deeply ingrained expectation from others that you'll act the way you used to, that you'll fall back into the old patterns they've become accustomed to, maybe the ones that benefited them.
Yeah. This directly relates to that concept that progress requires unlearning, and that we need to continuously edit your beliefs and to upgrade and expand your identity. You have to signal the change.
Right. So a script for this, which acknowledges their expectation without validating it, could be, I understand you might expect the old behavior, like me, to always say yes, or let you vent at me for an hour.
Acknowledge the reality first.
But I'm working on new ways of engaging that are healthier for me. I hope you can respect that.
I like that. I'm working on new ways, healthier for me. Hope you can respect that. It gently but firmly educates them about your new playbook and invites them, kindly, to respect your journey. Doesn't demand, but invites.
Exactly. It states your reality and your hope.
The power of these small, consistent actions, especially in setting boundaries, it really cannot be overstated, can it?
Not at all. Each time you successfully implement a boundary, even a small one, like using one of these scripts, it's not just a single act. It's a powerful vote for the type of person you wish to become. You're casting a ballot for your future self.
I love that. A vote for your future self. It reinforces your new identity.
And that profound feeling of making progress, even small progress, is incredibly motivating. It provides that little hit of immediate pleasure for a job well done, which our sources say is essential to keep you excited and engaged, while the delayed rewards like the long-term benefits of healthier relationships and greater peace of mind slowly accumulate in the background.
Because lasting change takes time. You need those little wins along the way.
Totally. These small successes literally reinforce new neural pathways and strengthen your evolving identity. They make it easier to hold those boundaries the next time, creating a virtuous cycle of positive change instead of the old vicious cycles.
Okay, so as we bring our deep dive today to a close, let's try and synthesize what we've explored. It's been a lot.
It has.
Good stuff, though. We've peeled back the layers to see how incredibly entrenched habits, our early attachment styles, and even deeply impactful past traumas can conspire to create these unspoken, often self-defeating rules in our relationships.
The invisible playbook.
Yeah, they dictate how we interact, how we expect to be treated, and how we instinctively respond, often leading us back into old patterns, even when we consciously desire profound change and growth. Keeps us stuck.
But the truly empowering news, and this is what I hope listeners really take away, is that we've also thoroughly explored the powerful tools available to you to rewrite that playbook entirely. It can be rewritten.
Absolutely.
Ah.
From conscious, assertive communication of your needs and the courageous act of boundary setting without guilt, to actively embracing a growth mindset and deliberately cultivating deeply connected, intrinsically motivated relationships, choosing who you connect with and how.
This isn't just tangential to recovery or personal growth, right? Healthy relationships are not just a nice byproduct. They are a crucial active pillar that supports and sustains that entire journey.
They become a source of strength, not a source of stress or relapse.
Ideally, yes. That's the goal.
And the true transformation here, it feels like it's far beyond merely fixing external problems or just putting on a new social mask.
Oh, much deeper.
When you actively heal and repattern your relationships, you're transforming yourself at a fundamental, even visceral level. You're learning, as one source put it, to tolerate your sensations, befriend your inner experiences, and cultivate new action patterns.
Befriend your inner experiences. I like that.
Yeah. Literally turning traumatic memories or painful patterns into stories of what happened long ago instead of instant transports into the hell of reenactment.
It's a liberation of self, really. Taking back control from the past.
Yeah. And this ongoing process of rewriting your human playbook, it's never truly finished, is it?
No, it's lifelong learning.
It's a dynamic, continuous journey of both that differentiation and integration we talked about, becoming more uniquely you while simultaneously deepening your authentic connection with others.
Finding that balance again and again.
It's about moving from what one source vividly described as a boiling cauldron of contradictory impulses towards a more ordered, more whole self. Finding that new centering that things like mandalas so beautifully symbolize.
It's a journey of self-discovery through connection and connection through self-discovery. They feed each other.
So, as you, our listener, continue this incredibly brave and vital work of rewriting your external relationship rules, reshaping how you interact with the world, here's a final thought to ponder. What inner command center are you building to guide you? How do you cultivate that internal wisdom, that inner friend we talked about, that sense of knowing your own truth?
Yeah, the internal compass.
How do you nurture that to help you navigate the inevitable unknowns and embrace this constant, courageous process of becoming? That feels like the next frontier, doesn't it? Building that internal guidance system.
Indeed. It's about taking conscious control of your internal world, your thoughts, your focus, your reactions to better navigate your external one. They're intrinsically linked.
Exactly. So join us next time on The Deep Dive as we explore exactly that, building your very own internal command center. We'll be delving into how you can control the contents of your consciousness, foster that inner strength to master your attention, and shape your experience, regardless of external circumstances.
Sounds fascinating. Looking forward to it.
Me too. See you next time.